A week ago, change came to Anguilla. Ellis Lorenzo Webster, a proud son from the fishing village of Island Harbor, was sworn in as premier after his Anguilla Progressive Party, the APM, won an impressive 7-4 victory at the polls. The amazing story of that victory was that of the 11 candidates, only one had served as an elective representative before, and only two had any executive government experience. For Dr. Webster, he was a second-time candidate, yet he was able to lead a party to victory, which this time last year did not even exist. The Anguilla Progressive Movement, however, it must be said, is an offshoot of the Anguilla United movement of the now retired and once dominant Hubert Hughes. His son, Hayden Hughes, is among those who were elected to the new parliament. The APM defeated the incumbent Anguilla United Front of now former Premier Victor Banks. Banks was among those who lost his seat in one of the big stories of the campaign. He fell to the 27-year-old Deanne Kentish Rogers, a young lawyer who was once the first black Miss Universe and who was good enough an athlete to have appeared in the Commonwealth Games. A few weeks ago, we had Dr. Webster on the show, a man we said at the time had a good chance of becoming the premier of Anguilla. That projection proved to be right. Now, in his first major regional TV interview since he was sworn in, we're glad to welcome Dr. Ellis Lorenzo Webster to the show as Premier of Anguilla. Dr. Webster, thank you for joining us in your new capacity as Premier. Congratulations on the victory. How has the first week been for you as Premier?
Well, it's been great. Part of it was celebrating, and the next part was getting down to work and realize that it's going to be a lot of work, but we are ready for the task.
So, speaking about work, I noticed that you've taken on a heavy portfolio, finance and health. Those seem to be the areas that need immediate attention, not just in Anguilla, but around the world. How do you intend to cope with such a heavy workload?
Well, we realize that Anguilla has not been moving forward, for some time now, especially in the last 5 years. We've had Hurricane Irma, we've had the COVID-19 pandemic, and given that we have an economy that's in a tailspin and no work because tourism, our main industry, and then healthcare is the number one issue that our electorate felt need to be addressed. I felt as the premier, I need to handle those two portfolios. Certainly, the important thing right now involves health and the economy. We have to get Anguilla reopened, and that has to be done in a phased manner where the health of our people is paramount. And then we have to get our people back to work. And I think those go hand in hand, which will be the focus in the next couple of weeks of my ministries.
Have you spoken to the former Premier Banks as yet and gotten a full assessment of where things are?
Well, he did call on the night of the election to congratulate me. And I've met with the governor and gotten assessment of where we are and, the situation that Anguilla is in at this moment. Outgoing Premier, he signed a memorandum of understanding with the United Kingdom government on 11 June to get budgetary support, anticipating that the economy would not be able to kickstart during this pandemic. They got $100 million that is promised for budgetary support, provided that we don't meet the budgetary expectations. That came with several conditions, and at this moment, I'm analyzing those to see what the impact will be on Anguilla and its people. And so those are of concern to me that, we do know that given the current financial situation, that we will need help. But we also don't want to burden the people in this time with conditions that we feel may be overbearing. And so the full analysis of that is still to be done as we go forward.
You know, you mentioned the relationship with the British, with Anguilla still being a colony. Is the relationship with the British something on the agenda for you to look at?
Well, the British would say that we're an overseas territory, not a colony, although there's not much of a difference there, in my opinion. And we do have constitutional and electoral reform coming up because it would have happened last November, but we asked that it be delayed until after the election. That way, the people would have the be able to decide who they wanted to lead those reforms going forward. One of the things that we, as the Anguilla Progressive Movement, is interested in, we're interested in partnership of mutual respect. And that is something that we will want to convey during the negotiations. We want to have also some more autonomy in terms of governance. And these are the things that we will make known to the United Kingdom government as we negotiate a change or reforms in the Constitution. Certainly, it is the goal of any people to be free, and so independence is something that is aspirational. It is not something that we are pushing for right now, because we feel that we need to make sure that all the different aspects of good governance, transparency, accountability, and having a strong economy and a people that are engaged and involved in the process, including the public service, which will need some transformation.
Dr. Webster, thank you for this. I want to run back to election night real quick. 7-4 victory, quite impressive, coming from having no seats, right? What will you say are the main reasons for such an impressive victory?
Well, I think it was the campaign that we ran. We ran a campaign of hope. We ran a campaign with a vision that we wanted to see Anguillians, elevated, where our young people felt that we gave them an opportunity to be involved. We gave them an opportunity to feel that they could stay in Anguilla and survive here. Because before that, we had a lot of young people, especially, were leaving Anguilla to look for greener pastures elsewhere. The campaign that we ran was clean. It was a high level, and I think it gave the hope that the people were looking for. With that, also we added younger candidates, and I think that having the young people being there to represent themselves, a lot of the young people in Anguilla jumped on board, or as we would say, got in the boat, because that's what our symbol is, the sailboat. And I think they saw that there was opportunity, that they saw that there was hope. They saw a vision that we had mapped out for moving Anguilla forward in terms of better and affordable health care, better education, expanding our tourism industry, expanding our fishing industry so that it became a viable second option to tourism. We also looked at improving our food security with fishing and agriculture being enhanced and incentivized. And then, of course, renewable energy, where we would go towards cleaner, more affordable energy, which would improve the cost of living. So providing that in a manner that people could understand and see that it's possible with this administration of ours, I think that's what catapulted us to the forefront, and we never lost the momentum, even when COVID-19, caused us to stay at home, where we could not come out to public rallies. And we did a virtual platform, and that platform helped to keep us in the eyes of the people. We did different things where we showed the economy, how it would work. We were able to do Ask Doc, where they were able to ask medical questions, also questions on any topic. And I think those also we had virtual platforms where we did the rallies virtually. And I think that kept the people engaged. And so when we were able to come out and the 1st of June back on the campaign trail. The people knew that we were still there with them, and that helped to keep the momentum going and took us straight through the victory. And I thank God for the victory. I think we had good consultants that helped us with getting the message across. And I thank my candidates who are capable and who are very caring, and that showed in the way we presented ourselves and interacted with the people.
Dr. Webster, congratulations again. Thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss more about Anguilla with you. And finally, for your comrades in the Caribbean and the wider Caribbean, your friends, your everybody in the Caribbean looking at Anguilla now, what is your message for them concerning Anguilla?
Well, I'd like to thank those who've called or written congratulatory messages. Uh, I didn't know I was this famous until I got the messages from all over the Caribbean, even in the United States and in England. So it's good to know though that we have the opportunity to help Anguilla to move forward, and that's what the whole purpose of this campaign was, to get representatives, true representation for Anguilla, because I feel that our island needs a chance to move forward. Our people need a chance to realize their full potential. And I also look forward to getting out to meet the other leaders in the Caribbean so that we can all formulate a plan for the Caribbean in general, because I feel we have to be integrated. We have to have one sense of purpose, which is to help this region to improve, to move forward. And, there are lots of external pressures that affect us: financial, climate change, the way things are going in the world. In America, you have all these tensions, and so these, and then the pandemic itself. We have to be able to reopen our countries and do it in a manner that we can continue to sustain our economies and keep our people healthy. So I welcome the opportunity to participate in that.
Thank you very much. He's the new premier of Anguilla, Dr. Lorenzo Ellis Webster. Congratulations again, and best of luck as you move Anguilla forward.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's the week that was. We will be right back. Still to come in the show, we're going to talk some cricket, West Indies cricket in England.